Good afternoon, I'm Alex Gilby and welcome to In the Know Lunchtime News. Our main headlines today: the aftermath of the Nepal earthquake, our correspondent Rory Johnston interviews a missionary. Prehistoric news on Wallingford, Ali Colhoun speaks to an archaeologist live on the dig. And finally, we talk to Henley rower Tom Mortimer live in the studio about plans for this year's regatta and his thoughts on the event. The topic on everyone's minds at the moment, the devastating earthquake in Nepal, left millions of people homeless and thousands dead. Our correspondent Rory Johnston speaks live to a missionary to discuss the aftermath of this tragic event.
So how have you been in Nepal? You've been there since the earthquake, so how have you been finding it?
I've been fine. After first arriving, it was difficult to get to grips with the sheer level of destruction caused by the earthquake, which was certainly a reality check.
What would you say was your toughest memory?
My toughest memory of Nepal, which really reminded me of how fortunate we are, is waking up one morning, not to the familiar sounds of dogs barking and people, but an eerie quiet, broken only by the occasional cheer. And after going outside, I found the children playing football in the rubble. It was tough and emotional for me, as it made me guilty on behalf of complaining about my lifestyle and wanting more and more, when the people who've lost it all are still finding ways to have some fun amongst the sheer sorrow the earthquake caused.
Your role is providing and distributing aid through Red Cross. What does that involve?
It involves liaising with the troops in charge of handing out care packages, keeping track of what is given out to whom, and travelling back and forth from the relief camp to the towns to distribute specific aid.
The earthquake struck with a moment magnitude of 7.8. Do you feel like this earthquake is the most devastating disaster of the last 10 years?
Absolutely. Not only was this earthquake scientifically one of the strongest seen, but in terms of devastation, it was by far the worst, causing deaths on Mount Everest, and due to the weak structure of some of Nepal's historic buildings and standard community architecture, destruction in many of the villages and in Kathmandu. This earthquake caused numerous buildings and homes to be destroyed.
The army have become increasingly involved in the recent weeks. Do you worry that military involvement will encourage fear instead of hope?
I don't believe this to be true at all. The military presence has entirely been providing hope, appearing to some as knights in shining armour. And they haven't arrived and taken over all operations. They have instead been providing vital help alongside charities like Red Cross and Feed the Children, and many others. Without them, their more rugged set of skills, it would be unlikely that we would have rescued and helped as many people as we have.
Kat Carter, an emergency response worker for Save the Children, said, "It's impossibly bleak, but incredible. Even among such devastation, there are glimmers of hope. Children who have got lost or whose parents are still missing are being looked after by other families who are sharing what little food or tea they have. Among the rubble, you can hear women laughing for the first time since the quake, a sign of hope for tomorrow." Do you feel that working to help the Nepal disaster is a humbling experience?
Of course it was a humbling experience seeing all these people lose everything and still maintain high spirits. Besides, it's all truly amazing. And like I said earlier, watching the children play football in the rubble with a nearly broken ball reminds us all of how lucky we are.
What is the most important aid that should be donated to the Nepal cause?
The most important aid that can be given is clothing, specifically warm, padded jackets and waterproofs.
How long do you plan to stay positioned in Nepal? Is our aid really helping?
I plan to stay in Nepal for another 2 months, and of course our aid is helping, but the more we receive, the more it will help.
Well, thanks very much, and I wish you the best of luck and all the success in your next 2 months over in Nepal.
Thanks, Rory. It's easy to donate. Just go to the Disasters Emergency Committee website and follow the steps online. Time for more local news. Wallingford is known for its historic findings. Recently discovered was Anglo-Saxon pottery. Here's Ali live at the dig in Wallingford with more on the story.
Thanks, Alex. I'm here today with local archaeologist Elizabeth, who will tell us about the Big Dig project. The project has been running since 2008. Why did it get started?
Because Wallingford is a historical town with lots of hidden artefacts.
All the discoveries go to Wallingford Museum. Why is this?
so the community of Wallingford and tourists can view the discoveries made.
And what made you get started in archaeology?
My family have always been very, very enthusiastic into archaeology and being archaeologists, so I was brought up around the hobby.
What would you say to any of our listeners who are interested in getting into archaeology?
Keep an eye out for any projects that are going on throughout Wallingford or any other town nearby.
Do you believe that the younger generation are into archaeology?
Yes and no. I think the younger generation are more pinpointed on the future, but, I think there are very few, and there are a lot more coming up that are still interested in the past, that are doing history at A level, and actually are wanting to do more of the practical side, and that entails archaeology.
Can anybody get involved in the Big Dig, or do you have to have an education in it?
Ultimately, it's a voluntary project, but we do ask or would like people to have an interest in history and to kind of know about the site that we are digging in.
So it's been quite an extensive project so far. Do you feel like it will carry on in this manner in the future?
I think it will, but every project comes to an end because once you find something in one site, there's not always so much more to find, but it's a continuous snowball because it leads into different projects. You find out different pieces of information and it continually builds up to build our knowledge of the past and of history itself and how other civilizations worked and how we work now.
Thank you for your time, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Now time for an exciting event coming up here in Henley, the Henley Royal Regatta, the best known regatta in the world. Only 2 months to go until the event. We are here now with Henley rower Tom Mortimer to give his views on the regatta. Hi, Tom.
Hello, nice to be here.
From my understanding, you've been a part of the Leander Club for 4 years now, 2 of those years being involved in the regatta.
So I've been rowing for many years now, and last year and the year before I raced at Henley Royal Regatta and made it, which was a really good experience for me.
Being a rower, you must go through extensive training before the regatta. Don't you come 4 weeks early just to train? It must be hard, but all worthwhile in the end.
Yeah, we train sort of every day for hours upon hours, and it's really, really quite intense. But yeah, when you're on the start line and you're winning medals and races, it's all worth it in the end.
I hear you came first in one of the races and second in a couple of others. How does this make you feel?
Yeah, last year we won on the first day, which was really, really good, and then unfortunately came second on some of the others, which was annoying and frustrating because of all the training that we've put in. But overall, it's a great experience.
Coming in second still must be quite good, though. The regatta is known for its social events just as much as it is for the rowing. Do you enjoy the social aspect of the regatta as much as the rowing?
I think every rowers really enjoy the social aspect of rowing as well. You get to see your friends, meet up with them after all the rowing, and have a few drinks. Yeah, so it's really good.
The regatta used to be just a local event. Do you prefer the fact it's now global rather than local?
I think it's good to get a sort of a range and mix of rowers at the Henley Regatta. Last year, for example, we were racing against some American and Canadian rowers, so it's good mix of people.
The local people who live in Henley do have issues with the regatta due to traffic and drunken behaviour. What would you say to them?
I'd say the fact that the regatta is only on for sort of 5 days out of the entire year, I think they should just embrace it and accept that Henley needs to become more diverse and they can put up with it for the 5 days.
Now, we know you're also taking part this year in the regatta. What races are you doing this year?
I'll be racing, hopefully in a quad. I'll be racing on the Wednesday and hopefully see if as far as we can get through.
Well, we hope this year goes as well as last year did, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Now time for the Henley Sports Brief. The Henley Hawks were awarded with a trophy for their final game on Thursday. The last match of the season for Henley's Youth Football Club is due to be on Tuesday evening. Kick-off will be at 7:45. They will be playing in Reading. And finally, for all you budding sailors, Reading Sailing Club are hosting an open day on Saturday the 16th of May. Now over to Ali with the weather.
Today there will be sunny spells with outbreaks of light rain, highs of 15 degrees and lows of 7 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday will also have outbreaks of light rain with highs of 14 degrees and lows of 6 degrees. Thursday it will be mostly dry with temperatures between 8 degrees and 17 degrees. On Friday it will be very humid with highs of 17 degrees and lows of 11 degrees.
Thanks, Ali. That's it for the lunchtime news. I'm Alice Gilby, keeping you in the know.